आत्मा वशीर्विधियात्मा प्रसादम् आदिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानाम् अशोयो पश्यते प्रसन्नचेतसि अशु बुद्धिं पर्यवशतते नास्ति बुद्धिरव्यक्तस्य न च शक्तस्य भावना न चाव्यव्योतः असन्न्यस्तो कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतं यन्मनो अनुविद्यते तद् अस्याहर्हति प्रज्ञं वायुर्नयम् इवं वशि पाशि तस्माद् यस्य महाभावो निर्यतानि सर्वसा इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियस्ते ते अभ्यस्य तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठता या निष्ठ सर्वभूतानां तस्मज्जागृति संयनि यस्मज्जागृति भूतानि न सा निश्य पश्यतो मुनिः अप्रियमाणम् अचलं प्रतिष्ठं समुद्रम् अपो प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तवत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे सा सैन्यम् अपोहिना कामकामी विहया कामं या सर्वं पुंश्चरणे निष्पृशः निर्माणो निरङ्कारणा सा सन्धित् आदिगच्छति यशा ब्रह्मे स्थितिः पार्थ नैनं पार्थ विमुच्यते स्त्रियवशम् अन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं रचते इति श्रीमहाभारते सतास्ति हर्षयं समासितं व्यवसायिकं भीष्मपर्वाणि श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता उपनिषत् ब्रह्मविद्यानं योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे साङ्ख्ययोगः मम द्वितीयो अध्यायः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण माताजी
Hare Krishna, Vandana Mataji. Thank you for some beautiful Bhagavad Gita recitation. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Samast Vaishnavind ki jai. Namachardas Thakur ji ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Good morning, dear devotees. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference Call for this mid-morning session. Thank you all for joining. Please forgive me for stopping your static chanting. This is Shivani from West Virginia. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji on the Sri Chaitanya-BHAGAVATA Madhya Kanda 23:17 till verse 47. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I would like to
Mataji, you can go ahead with Prabhupada's quote.
Yeah, yes. I would like to share the Srila Prabhupadaji's quote. You should not keep your trust on so-called gentlemen of the world, however nicely dressed he may be. In the matter of discharging our mission of Krishna consciousness, we have to meet so many so-called gentlemen, but we must be very cautious for dealing with them as we are cautious in dealing with serpents. Letter to Brahmananda, March 28, 1967, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on the Sri Chaitanya-BHAGAVATA Madhya Kanda 23:17 to verse 47. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Thank you for giving your valuable time and association this morning. So happy to have you on the call, waiting eagerly to hear from you. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Guru Garanga Ki Jai. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us today. And we are continuing our study of Sri Chaitanya-BHAGAVATA. Usually on Fridays, we have special seminar series, but then we got a break for 2 weeks because Prabhuji, though he's in the middle of the series, he had to take a break for a couple of weeks. And besides that, we also took a break. As a team, we had to take a break to honor everybody and request if someone was interested in giving classes. And that way we had a special Gaur Katha seminar series. So there has been a lot of break. So Prabhuji will be continuing, Prabhuji will continue his series in a couple of weeks. So till then, we thought we'll continue our study of Sri Chaitanya-BHAGAVATA. So that's some background of why we don't have a seminar today. Okay. So having said that, we'll get started with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ajanulambita-bhujau kanakavadatou sankirtanaikapitarau kamalayadakshau Vishwambarau dvijavarau yugadharmapalau Vande jagatpriyakarau karunavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirtistasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityastasya Vishveshwamurtir Jayati Jayati Nityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are in this very beautiful section of Sri Chaitanya-BHAGAVATA. And in this section, in the beginning of this very chapter, the beginning of this chapter that is very nicely titled, Wandering About Navadvip on the Day the Lord Delivered the Qazi. This is the title of the chapter. So we all expect to hear the story of deliverance of Chand Qazi. But however, before that, there is another incident that is described. From text 1 to 16, yesterday in our Chaitanya Bhagavat class, we saw how Mahaprabhu would do these night-long kirtans in Srivas Angan, and many people desired to go and see this beautiful kirtan of the Lord. But not everyone was allowed to go into Srivas Angan to see these beautiful kirtans that were done by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because people did not have the qualification to see the ecstatic symptoms of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It would be very easy for people to get misunderstand these ecstatic symptoms that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was displaying. So not everyone was allowed except for a few very close associates. The people in Navadvip, many of them were envious, some of them were angry, some of them just had an intense desire, will I be ever able to see these beautiful Sankirtan parties that are happening in Srivas Angan. Meanwhile, there is a story of a person who desired to see the Sankirtan and who entered into Srivas Angan and who hid with, of course, with the permission of Srivas Thakur. And later he was expelled. by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the pastime we are going to see. And this pastime is the pastime of the milk drinking brahmachari. So that is the pastime. So we'll go through this pastime, a part of it, of course, the first part of it, because the second half of it is very nice, where the milk drinking brahmachari is allowed to come back and Mahaprabhu gives his mercy. We will not cover that section, but we'll do the first part. Let's see what is the problem here. Why was the milk drinking brahmachari not given permission? So that is the section we'll be covering from verses 17 to 47. एक ब्रह्मचारी से नवद्वीप वाय से तपस्वी परम साधु वसये निर्दोषे. Once there was a particular brahmachari, ek brahmachari, say Navadvipe vaise. That means he was living in Navadvip. There was a brahmachari living in Navadvip. Now, what were his qualities? It is not that he was a very devious person or an envious person or someone who was a very, very evil-minded or something like that. He had very great qualities. The qualities mentioned here are tapasvi, meaning he was very austere. Paramasadu, he was very saintly. Vasaye nirdoshe, he was faultless. So there was no dosha in him. He was very sadhu and he was a tapasvi. So seems to be a perfect brahmachari who can actually go and participate in these night-long sankirtans. Sarvakala payapana ananahi kaya prabhura kirtana vipra deki bharachaya. Not only that, it is so nice that this brahmachari just drank milk. He did not even eat rice. And this brahmana, who had all these beautiful qualities of especially austerity, being saintly, being faultless, and so much so that he did not even want to eat cooked food. He just survived on drinking milk, so austere. This brahmachari wanted to see the Lord's kirtan. Why did the brahmachari think that drinking milk and not eating rice is so great of an austerity? The reason that is mentioned in the commentary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is that since the brahmachari who considered that cooked food destroyed life and who took a vow to simply live on uncooked foods like milk and mango was unqualified to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord, he had no qualifications to hear the kirtan behind the closed doors. Now, this is very interesting. The austerity that the brahmachari was doing is that he was drinking milk. He had a reason why he was just drinking milk. He was thinking, why should I do unnecessary harm to all living entities? So you all know when you're cooking food, you're lighting a fire and so many germs and so many living entities are bound to be killed. So he was a very austere person and he was also trying to practice strict ahimsa. So he was thinking, why should I eat cooked food? There is no need to eat cooked food. I will just survive on a little bit of milk or I will take some raw foods and that way I can maintain my life. So his focus was on the austerity that he was performing. Hence, he was not qualified to actually hear the glories of the Supreme Lord and he had no qualification to see the kirtan behind doors. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is writing. He says, direct service to the Supreme Lord is never found within the principles of dry renunciation. Now, sometimes we don't even know why we're doing so much austerity and renunciation. Nobody has any idea. We are thinking that if I do this austerity and renunciation, it is pleasing to the Lord. Actually, the hidden agenda is that it is pleasing to me. I am being benefited out of it. Okay, that is why I try to do some austerity. When I do this austerity, I am having some side benefit. Okay, 99.9% of the time, that is the reason why we are doing some austerity. The side benefit can be maybe benefit for me personally, because I may advance in the eyes of others. I may get some puja la pratishta that I am doing austerity. Or maybe I'm having some benefit like I want to do weight loss. So I want to blame it on the austerity that I'm doing to the Lord. Or it can even be something as simple as someone is not well in my family. So I want to do the austerity. There is no harm in doing it. Okay, absolutely no harm. But the only problem is that you should not expect that through that austerity you will gain Krishna. Because Krishna is independent of that austerity. So that is the thing. Yes, if we are doing austerity for some other benefit, we will definitely get that benefit. Sure. Because Krishna is very merciful. We will get that benefit. It is there. It is there in so many scriptures that mentions that if you do certain austerities, you will get certain benefits. 100% true. You take up many vratas, you will get many benefits. Absolutely no questions asked. And people generally do this so that they can get the benefit. That is the actual intention of most people who do austerities, including myself. So we all do austerity so that we can get a benefit. But then to do an austerity and expect that you will get love of God, that is not possible. That is what this entire pastime is trying to explain. So now this brahmachari, he was doing the austerity and he was thinking, because I am austere, I am qualified to see the Lord's kirtan and see him manifesting ecstasy. But it is very clearly understood through this pastime that is not a qualification to demand love of God. That is not a qualification to expect the Lord to reveal himself to us. Okay. And what is the qualification that one should have? That we will find out towards the end of this discussion. So, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is telling, direct service to the Supreme Lord is never found within the principles of dry renunciation. Any renunciation is considered dry if it is not aimed at love of God. It's as simple as that. So 99.9% of the renunciations that we do or the austerities we do, we are actually doing it for ourselves. We are not doing it because it's pleasing to the Lord. How many of us are doing austerities because it is going to give pleasure to the Lord? No, we are doing it just because it is pleasing us in some way or the other, right? So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is telling, direct service to the Supreme Lord is never found within the principles of dry renunciation. Jnana Vairagi Anavritam, right? That is bhakti, that is pure bhakti. Foolish people who misuse renunciation consider that the ingredients of the Lord's worship are fit for rejection. So dry renunciants who are very, very attached to the Jnana Marg, they are not doing the austerity because it is pleasing for the Lord. And they are just doing things and giving up things because they should not be dwelled upon. You know, I don't want this attachment, so I'm giving it up. It is not because I'm giving this attachment, giving up this attachment because it is pleasing to the Lord. So such kind of renunciation or austerity is called as dry, very, very dry. As long as Krishna is not there in the center, everything is dry, right? So let's see next what happened. Prabhu sedu yara diya karaye kirtana praveshite nare bhakta vina anya jana. Since the Lord performed kirtan behind doors, no one other than the devotees was allowed to enter. What kind of devotees? Pure devotees. What kind of devotees who are pure? Pure devotees who are only thinking about the happiness of Mahaprabhu. They have no other intentions of being indoors seeing the kirtan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Se vipra pratidina Srivasera sthane nritya dekhi bhara lagi sadaye apane. This particular Brahman daily requested Srivas to allow him to see the Lord's dancing. So this brahmachari, this milk drinking brahmachari, who had very good qualities, yes, he was very sattvic. He was a very simple Brahmana. He didn't even think about causing harm to any other living entity. Such a great Brahmana, he desired to see the beautiful dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And daily he went to Srivas Thakur to allow him to see the Lord's dancing. At the end of the day, the dancing was happening in Srivas Thakur's house. So he sought the permission of Srivas Thakur. তুমি यदि एक दिन कृपा करे मोरे अपना लाइया यहाँ भड़ीरा भिथारे तब से धिकित पान पंडितेर नृत्यालोचना सफल करो कृत कृत्या. This is actually a very beautiful verse. This Brahmin, he went and told Srivas Pandit, if you bestow mercy on me and take me one day inside your house, I will be able to see Nimai Pandit's dancing. Then my eyes will be successful and I will remain grateful to you. See, outwardly, it appeared that the intention of the Brahmin was not bad. Actually, it's not bad at all. The Brahmin is, first of all, very sattvic. He's a very nice devotee. He's a nice person, very nice. But then he's telling, it'll be successful for my eyes if I am able to see the Lord's dancing. Even this verse also, when you read, it appears that the Brahmin is very genuine. Right? After all, in Srimad Bhagavatam, what do we read? The use of the ears is to hear the glories of the Lord. The use of the tongue is to chant the glories of the Lord. The use of the eyes is to see the beautiful form of the Lord. We say, right, if the ears are, Srimad Bhagavatam mentions this, if the ears are not engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, it is as good as snake holes. And if the eyes are not trained in seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, anyone remembers what analogy Srimad Bhagavatam gives? What is it as good as?
Feather, peacock feather.
Peacock feather, yes. Because if you see the peacock feather, it looks like there are eyes, beautiful eyes, purple, blue, dark blue, light blue, violet, so beautiful. And all these look like eyes, beautiful eyes. But with that eyes, can you at all see the Lord, or can you even see anything? It is useless. It is just in the shape of an eye, that's all. So the perfection of eyes is to see the beautiful form of the Lord. Right, so he's not wrong. He's telling, my eyes will be successful and I will remain grateful to you. So he goes and he tells Srivas Pandit like this. So far it looks fine, but then Siddhanta Saraswati has already told us that his inner intention is not pleasing to Krishna. His focus is not about Krishna's satisfaction, rather it is about his satisfaction. So, text 23. Eimata pratidina sadhaye brahmana aradine Srinivasa balila vachana. In this way, the Brahman daily, he went and he appealed to Srinivas, one who one day replied to him. So obviously you put pressure on a devotee. Yeah, the devotee will keep listening. He knows that maybe you're not yet ready, but then you keep asking and the devotee is compassionate. So the devotee will agree, right? That is the nature of devotees. If you want to see Krishna, you should go through a devotee. Everybody knows that formula. So obviously we'll catch hold of a devotee and we'll keep requesting a devotee. And a devotee by nature is very compassionate. So Srivas Thakur, one day he replied to this Brahmin. Tomara tajani sarva kala bhada bhala brahmacharya pala hare gunaila kala. I know about you. I know you've always been a very good person. You're a very sattvic person. Throughout your life, you have observed strict celibacy and eaten only fruits. And of course, he was also drinking milk. So this Brahmin, not only was he just drinking milk and eating fruits, he was also following strict celibacy, brahmachari. Very, very strict Brahmin. So such good qualities, right? So we read in Bhagavad Gita also about good qualities. These are very good qualities, very sattvic qualities. Not only that, Srinivas or Srivas Thakur, he says, Kona papa nahi jani tomara sharire dekhi bhara tomara ache adhikare. Your body is free from sin. You're certainly qualified to see the kirtan. So he's telling your body is free from sin. Okay, he's a brahmachari. He has not inflicted pain on any living entity. He's just living on milk and fruits. What more can be there to have a perfect body without sin? He had not committed any sin. So Srivas is telling, you're qualified to see the kirtan. You're sinless. You're faultless. So yes, you can come inside. प्रभु रसे आज्ञा नहीं के हयाई बारे संगोपे थाकी भाये बलि उन तुम्हारे. But I tell you, the Lord has instructed us not to bring anyone inside. So you will have to stay hidden. So now Srivas Thakur, he also wants to, be careful. He didn't want to hurt the Lord in any way, because the Lord had given very specific instructions. The Lord had told no one other than his close confident associates should actually enter into the space. So Srivas, in one hand, he wanted to show compassion to the new devotee who wanted to come. This is natural, right? Every devotee favors another devotee who wants to advance in bhakti. So he was thinking, yeah, I should let him in. He's been asking so sincerely from so many days and he's so austere, so why not let him in? Which is natural compassion. At the same time, Srivas was thinking, oh, what will the Lord think? Lord has given instructions. How can I let him in? So he said, I will let you in, but you have to stay hidden. Mahaprabhu should not see you, because if Mahaprabhu sees you, he will get disturbed. I don't want Mahaprabhu to get disturbed. That was the consciousness of Srivas. Since according to Mahaprabhu's instruction, the milk-drinking brahmachari had no qualification to hear the Lord's chanting, despite possessing a sinless body, when he begged Srivas to allow him to see the Lord's dancing, Srivas advised him to remain hidden within the house. So Srivas was, of course, ready to give compassion to the new devotee. At the same time, he was thinking about the Lord's pleasure alone. So he was thinking, please don't come and show your face. Don't disturb the Lord. Let him dance nicely. Okay. Etabali brahmanera laiya chaliya ekadike adahai sangope rahila. So after speaking this way, the Brahmin came inside and he hid himself in a corner. He didn't want to show himself. He listened to the advice of Srivas and he decided to hide himself. नृत्य करे चतुर्दश भुवनिरनाथ चतुर्दिके महाभागा भाग्यवंत वर्ग साथ. So this Chaturdasha Bhuvaniranath, the Lord of Chaturdash, 14 worlds, he was dancing. Who's that? It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord of all the 14 worlds. He began to dance that day night in the midst of his fortunate associates, Mahabhagyavanta Vargasta Sat. So with the help of, in the presence of his most fortunate associates who could really understand the Lord when he was manifesting symptoms of ecstasy, in their presence, what happened? The Lord began to dance. And who was hiding? This milk-drinking Brahman was hiding in a corner. He didn't want to reveal himself. And how did the Lord dance? Krishna Rama Mukunda Murari Vanamali Sabe Mili Gaya Hai Mahakutuhali. So jubilantly they all sang together the name of the Lord. Krishna, Rama, Mukunda, Murari, Vanamali. So like that they were singing and dancing. And the devotees there, and how did they relish the holy names? Nityananda Gadadhara Dariya Vidaya Anande Advaita Simhachari Dike Gadhaya. Nityananda and Gadadhar, they held each other and they twirled around, hearing the holy names of the Lord. The lion like Advaita Simhachari. So the lion like Advaita ran here and there in ecstasy. So sometimes when devotees hear the holy names of the Lord, they just get into this mood of ecstasy, and especially great devotees like Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Advaita Acharya, they were in total ecstasy. So Nityananda and Gadadhar, they were holding each other, they were twirling around up and down, and Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, who was lion-like, was roaring and dancing in ecstasy, running around. So like this, Parananda Suke Keha Bhagya Nahi Jane Vaikunta Nayaka Nritya Karai Apane. As the Lord of Vaikunta personally danced, everybody there, they lost external consciousness in transcendental happiness. Imagine dancing with the Supreme Lord, that to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how it would be. Just staying in that moment, staying for a minute around Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can develop symptoms of ecstasy. The animals in the Jharkhand forest, they were developing symptoms of ecstasy, and the enemies were kissing each other. The deer and the lion and the tigers, they were kissing each other and they were dancing and they were chanting Hari Hari. So you can imagine when the personality, Supreme Person, the Lord of Vaikunta, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally dancing, how the entire environment would be filled with ecstasy so much so that everybody, they lost their consciousness and they were soaring in this beautiful transcendental happiness. Hari bola, Hari bola, Hari bola bhai, iha bhai, ara kichu sunite na pai. Nothing could be heard other than Hari bol, Hari bol. Oh, brothers, chant the holy names. Hari Bol, Hey Krishna, Hey Murari. So like this, they were all chanting and jumping and twirling around and feeling symptoms of ecstasy. What are the symptoms of ecstasy Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting? Ashrukampa Lomahasha Saghana Hunkara Ke Kahite Pare Vishwambhera Vikara. Who can describe Vishwambar's transformations of ecstatic love? Like shedding tears, Ashru, shivering Kampa, hair standing on end, Romaharshana or Lomaharshana, and loud roaring Hunkara. So like this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was developing all these different symptoms of ecstasy, and the most confidential associates who were there were a witness to the ecstasies that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was developing as he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. Chanting of the holy names, if done properly, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can develop symptoms of ecstasy, but we don't know when we will do that. But we can hope and pray someday it will happen. सर्वजेनर चूड़ामणि विश्वंभर राय जाने द्विज लुकाइया आचित एथाई. Yet Lord Vishwambar, though all this was happening, this crest jewel of all omniscient persons, Sarvagnera Chudamani, that means the crest jewel of omniscient persons, the one who knows everything, is Sarvagnya. So one of the one of the qualities of the Lord is that he's Sarvagnya. He knows about everybody. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that this individual soul is aware of only this particular body, what is happening here. But Krishna, who is the Paramatma, he's aware of all the living entities. He's Sarvagnya. He knows everything that is happening in this universe, every nook and corner. He knows the activities of every single living entity. So he's Sarvagnira Chudamani, crest jewel of all omniscient persons. Now, he's the Paramatma in our heart, right? Just because you hide him behind a box or hide him behind a table, would he not know that this person is there in the room? So Sri Vishwambhar, who's the crest jewel of all omniscient persons, he knew very well that a Brahmana was hiding there. And then while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing like this, and he was exhibiting symptoms of ecstasy, and he was making others also dance, repeatedly knowing very well there was someone else, uninvited person, who cannot understand these symptoms of ecstasy was there. So repeatedly he began to stop. Rahiya rahiya bale Prabhu Vishwambhar Ajikena prema yoga napana nirbhar. He said, Vishwambar repeatedly stopped dancing and said, why am I not feeling ecstasy today? So, our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he goes to further explain why the Lord was telling that he did not feel any ecstasy when the Brahmin was hiding. So he says, yogis who are free from material activities and averse to the Lord's name, form, qualities, associates, characteristics, and pastimes do not have any information about love of Krishna because of their impersonalistic conception. Therefore, even though they are exalted in material calculation, like being very pious, like the Brahman, the aversion to love of God, which is transcendental to the four goals of life, devours them. See, impersonalists who do not understand the actual nature of Krishna, who do not understand what is prema bhakti, who do not understand love for Krishna, their concentration is generally on the four goals of life: dharma, artha, kama, and even moksha. But then prema pumarto mahan, prema is so much higher than these four goals that people are hankering after. Such people, they are actually bad association. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is telling us, although such bad association is considered desirable in the eyes of ordinary people, there is no possibility of attaining love of God in such association. That is the reason Gaura Sundar was not feeling any happiness, because though this man was very pious, under material calculation. If you just see him externally, very, very pious, so sattvic, such a sadhu, doing such nice austerities. But then Mahaprabhu didn't appreciate that association. It is mentioned here that is bad association. Why? Because they don't understand what is prema. They don't do things for the pleasure of the Lord. So we are told, right? Even when you do anything, be it any austerity or be it even giving classes, be it reading, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaran, everything, whatever devotional activity we do, including austerities, everything should be done for the pleasure of the Lord. If it is just around me, right, how am I going to get benefited out of this? If that is our goal, then that is not appreciated by Gaurasundar. Because if it is about me, I'm still hovering in the platform of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It is not, prema is not even close. So Sri Gaurasundar revealed that love of God is absent in the association of such persons who are averse to love of God. So if someone's focus is impersonal liberation or someone's focus is all about themselves, then such association that is lacking love of God is considered bad association. It's only a disturbance. So Gaurasundar was getting disturbed continuously and he was not able to manifest these symptoms of ecstasy. केहजानी आसियाचे बाड़ीरा बिथरे किचु नाही बुझी सत्य कह दे की मोरे भय पाई श्रीनिवासा बल ये वचना पाषंडेरा आयते प्रभु नाही अगमना सबे एक ब्रह्मचारी भड़ सुब्रह्मणा सर्वकाला पयपान निष्पाप जीवन देखिते तुम्हारा नृत्य श्रद्धा तारा भड़ा निर्भते आचे ये प्रभु जानी आचादी धदा शूनी क्रोधावेशे तबे बले विश्वंभरा झाठ झाठ भाडीरा बाहिरा लानकारा मोरा नृत्य देखिते हुआ रखो शक्ति भय पाना करी लेकी मोते हय भक्ति. I cannot understand, Mahaprabhu tells. I cannot understand. It seems someone is inside the house. Tell me the truth. Okay. So he's looking at Shrivas and he's telling, tell me the truth. Looks like somebody is inside the house. And in here, Srinivas, he replies, oh Lord, there are no atheists. No atheists have come inside. But however, there is only one brahmachari. But he's a very good brahmachari. He's very pious. He leads a very sinless life. You know what? He drinks only milk. He's so sinless. And he has a very strong desire to see your dancing. He wants to see your dancing. Why does he want to see? He wants to see the dancing out of curiosity, right? He wants to see, not that he has the love of God. He had a strong desire to see your dancing. And you have rightly surmised, oh Lord, he's hiding inside the house. Yes, he has been hiding. But he's a very good brahmachari. There is no problem in him hiding. On hearing this, Vishwambhar, he got very angry and he said, quickly take him out of the house. What qualification does he have to see my dancing? Can one attain devotion to me just by drinking milk? Is that a qualification? I'm doing this austerity, so I deserve to see God? I deserve to get love of God? Because I'm doing X, Y, Z, I deserve. Okay, I'm hearing Bhagavatam class every day in the morning, so I deserve Krishna Prem. You cannot get Krishna Prem like that. Okay, I'm chanting my 16 rounds. I deserve to see Krishna. No, we chant 16 rounds. Yes, we have to chant 16 rounds, but that doesn't make us demand that we can see Krishna. Okay, by that qualification, you don't get Krishna. You don't get Krishna by externals. That is the point. I'm doing X, Y, Z, so Krishna better reveal himself to me. It doesn't work like that. Love is not like that. Love is not obtained on demand. Okay, so he says, does he think he can get me out of drinking milk just because I'm drinking milk every day? I can see Krishna. No, take him out of the house. Again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he explains this to us. He says, since Gaurasundar did not feel any ecstasy in the kirtan, and since he realized that some bad association has entered the house, he inquired about this from Srivas Pandit, and Srivas Pandit told him, no irreligious person, envious of the Supreme Lord, has entered the house. A sinless Brahmana brahmachari who has taken a vow to live on milk and who's devoted to his duties is hiding in the house because he was very eager. He just had that eagerness. He was just inquisitive to see your dancing. On hearing this, Mahaprabhu considered that person a non-devotee because he is not qualified to understand love of God, and he expressed his anger by ordering that he should leave the house immediately. Okay? When there is no guarantee that by only drinking uncooked milk, one attains devotion to the Supreme Lord, then how can a non-devotee become eligible to see the dancing of a devotee, to see the dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Now, when a person is bereft of unalloyed devotional service, it is impossible for him to see the Supreme Lord. So he had developed this propensity for executing material austerities alone. Just by executing different kinds of austerities, one doesn't get Krishna. Even outwardly, it may look devotional. That austerity may look devotional. But if it is not purely for pleasing Krishna, to make Krishna happy, for the pleasure of Krishna, if there is any other motive in it, then it is considered adulterated. All austerities aimed at non-violence are imagined to be favorable to religious life according to ordinary consideration, but they can never be steps to devotional service to the Lord. Inclination towards the service of the Supreme Lord and lording over the material world are not equivalent. They are not the same. So in the name of austerity, we can be doing 100 things. We can hide in the garb of doing, even devotional service for that matter, so-called devotional service. But if our intention is not to please the Lord for his pleasure, then at the end of it, it is also tinged with jnana and karma and so many other different contaminations of this material world. Dhui bhuja tuli prabhu anguli dekhaya, paya pane kabu more keha nahi paya. Dhui bhuja tuli prabhu. So he raised his two arms and extended his index finger and he said, Paya pane kabu more keha nahi pai. Just by drinking paya is milk. Just by drinking me, one cannot attain me. No one can attain me simply by drinking milk. So attempts to achieve saintliness or supremacy in the world under the shelter of non-violence are not evidence of inclination to the Lord's service. You may be non-violent, you might be so pious, whatever it may be. You will not get the Lord's service just by doing that. This was specifically pointed out by Gaurasundar. Now he explains what one should do. So we said towards the end of the class, we'll figure out what we should be doing, right? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he evicted this person who was drinking milk. Externally, he looked very pious, very good boy, but he was not allowed inside. If the externals do not matter to Mahaprabhu, then the internals matter to Mahaprabhu. So what should the internals be? That is what he's going to explain now. So he says, Chandale o Mohara Sharan Yadi Lai Se Mora Munitar Janiha Nishchai. Know for certain that even if a Chandala surrenders unto me, he is mine and I am his. That means the past karma of a person doesn't matter. If by the past karma of a human being, he's taking birth in a degraded family, but he has the heart that he has strong inclination for the service of the Supreme Lord, such a person becomes very, very dear to me. He is certainly a Brahmana whose body belongs to me, and there is no doubt about it. So let me ask, I know many of you will have answers to this, but just you can give some answers. Can you give examples of a person who are born in low family? And the key point here is Sharana. This will keep coming again and again. So what is the internal? The internal is the mood of being a surrendered soul. That is what Mahaprabhu will keep emphasizing. It is the internal. It is the internal. Externally, you may be doing 100 things. You may be giving 200 classes. You may be reading Bhagavatam upside down. You may be doing every other austerity under the universe. You may be waking up at Brahma Muhurta. You may be chanting 64 rounds, 128 rounds. Nothing matters externally unless the internals are set straight. So he's saying, even a Chandala surrenders unto me. He is mine and I am his. Any examples of such a person? Need not be Chandal, but just a low-born fan. Born in a
Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur.
Yes, Haridas.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yes, Prahlad.
Yeah.
Very nice. Haridas Thakur, first class example. And also Prahlad Maharaj, he was born in a family of demons. I often think of this in Brad Bhagavatamrita. Prahlad Maharaj was telling, I'm so unfortunate. Because when Narad Muni goes and sees him, he's in Sutala Loka. And he says, look at my condition. I don't even have proper devotee association. I'm surrounded by demons. But his internals were set straight all the time.
Vibhishana.
Vibhishan, first class example. He's an epitome of Sharanagati, right? He goes and he surrenders very beautifully to the Lord. Yeah. So he says, know for certain that even if a Chandal surrenders unto me, he is mine and I am his. However, Sanyasi o mora yadi nalaya sharan, seha mora nahi satya bahilun vachan. If even a sannyasi does not surrender unto me, he's not mine. This is the truth I'm telling you. You might be a great sannyasi, but internally, if you have not surrendered, then you are not mine. Examples of this? Sannyasi or a great person, a great renounced person, a great Brahmana.
Durvasa Muni.
Durvasa Muni, yes, first class example. And in contrast with Ambarish Maharaj, who was internally very surrendered. Yeah, externally it appeared he made a mistake in the eyes of a guest, but internally he was so surrendered to the Lord.
Saubhari Muni.
Saubhari, yes. Where was the internal surrender, right? He was dependent on his dry austerities. He was thinking this austerity should give me some great benefit. He was dependent on the austerity. He was not dependent on God. This is the problem with many, yes. We are thinking by our efforts, right? Even in bhakti also this happens. I'm saying for myself, of course, I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm really saying about myself. In bhakti also, when I do something, I think because of this effort, I demand Krishna. That effort, what effort? If Krishna desires to give alone, he will give. What is your effort? It is useless. So even that effort is coming only by his mercy, right? So I was also thinking of this Ramachandra Puri, right? He was also a great person. I don't know if he was a sannyasi, but at least he was in the position of almost like a superior. But his consciousness was so contaminated. The internals were not okay. Externally, he was finding fault. You're eating too much. You're doing this. You're doing that. You have to be like this. He was even advising his spiritual master. He was telling, oh, you should not be chanting Krishna, Krishna. You should be so grave as a sannyasi. You should be so grave. You should be thinking about some Upanishadic verses and meditating on the Brahman, all that. But in such cases, the strength is lying on their endeavor. The strength is not depending on the mercy of Krishna. So that is the difference. Internally, you should surrender, depend on the mercy of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, even if a sannyasi does not surrender unto me, he is not mine. This is the truth I am telling you. If even a sannyasi situated in the topmost ashram becomes averse to the service of the Supreme Lord, then it is a fact that such a person should not be accepted as dear to the Supreme Lord. Now, like how you all give examples, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give examples. He says, Gajendra Vanara Gope Kitapa Karila Bale Deki Tara More Ke Mate Paila Asure O Tapakare Ki Hayata Hara Vine Mora Sharana Laile Nahi Para. So he says, think about all these personalities. Gajendra. What austerities did Gajendra do in the body of an elephant? Did he eat one meal a day and did he stand on one leg with his hands raised, looking at the Lord, asking him, performing austerities? Nothing. He was an elephant. So what austerities did Gajendra do? The Vanaras? How about the Vanaras who were in the service of Lord Ramachandra? In the Ramayana, if you read the way they were indulging themselves, you'll be shocked. Be thinking, why is Ram even embracing them? What is the Sugriva dirty fellow? Why is Ram embracing him like this? That's the impression we get. But then internally, they had a very different consciousness. They were very surrendered to the Lord. Okay. So Gajendra, the monkeys, and the cowherd boys, they were jumping on the shoulders of Krishna. They were feeding him with their left hand. Imagine you're doing this, you're using your left hand to do puja. That's considered an offense. Of course, we should not use our left hand at all, because Vaidi Marg is, especially while doing puja and all, you have to be careful. But imagine the cowherd boys, they would put food into Krishna's mouth with their left hand. So sometimes they would tease Krishna. They would put a flower into Krishna's mouth. So what austerities did they do? Krita Punya Punja, that's a famous verse, right? What austerities, actually in Bhagavatam itself it comes. What austerities did the cowherd boys do to attain this position of jumping on Krishna, playing with Krishna, feeding him with their left hand and so on? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, what austerities they did? Even demons perform austerities. But what is the use of those austerities? What is the result they got? Unless they take shelter of me, they cannot be delivered. Unless you have this mood of surrender, you cannot be delivered. Surrender is an integral part of Krishna consciousness. Every second, our consciousness should be absorbed in Krishna in the mood of surrender. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:12, 1-8, the Supreme Personality of Godhead speaks to Uddhava Gita. Na rodhayati mam yogo, na sankyam dharma evacha, na swadhyayastapotyago, nishtaputram, na dakshina, vratam yajñas chandamsi, tirtani niyamayamadhyata. Varundhe satsanga sarvasangapahohi mam. My dear Uddhava, by associating with my pure devotees, one can destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. One may perform the Ashtanga Yoga system, engage in philosophical analysis of the elements of material nature, practice non-violence, and other ordinary principles of piety, chant the Vedas, perform penances, take to the renounced order of life, execute sacrificial performances and dig wells, plant trees, perform other public welfare activities, give in charity, take severe vows, worship demigods, chant confidential mantras, visit holy places, accept major and minor disciplinary injunctions. But even by performing such activities, one does not bring me under control. We talk about austerities in the three modes. If you see Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, this would be from chapter 17, right? Chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, it speaks about the austerities that is performed in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Verses 17, 18, 19. So there, Krishna says, this threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men, not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the pleasure of the Supreme, is called austerity in the mode of goodness. Penance performed out of pride for the sake of gaining respect, name, fame, honor, worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. For some days, it will go on. It might go on for a few years also, but it is not permanent. It is not stable also. It will keep flickering. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So these are the three kinds of austerities that are generally performed. Even the austerities we perform also, we can classify it between the three. It's sometimes in the name of devotional austerities also we will do it. So, but however, the inner intention is what Krishna is interested in. So he says, none of these activities can bring me under control. Satsangena hi daiteya yatu dhana mrga kaga Gandharvo Apsara Nagha Siddha Charana Guhyaka Vidyadhara Manushesu Vaishya Shudra Striyo Nityaja Rajastamas Prakrita Yastasmin Tasmin Yuge Yuge Bahavo Matpadam Praptas Tvashtra Kayada Vyada Vyadaha Vishaparva Balir Bano Mayas Chatta Vibhishan Sugriva Hanumana Riksho Gajogrido Vanikpati Vyada Kubja Vraje Gopyo Yagna Patnis Tata Pare. In every yoga, many these examples we will go through quickly. Very nice examples is quoted here by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says, in every yoga, many living entities entangled in the modes of passion and ignorance gained association of my devotees. Now, to come to that mood of surrender and to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, the very first step is association of devotees. Unless one gets the association of devotees, one will not be able to practice bhakti properly. Correct? So for that, here in this verse, he gives examples of different living entities. These living entities may be born as daityas, or they may be born as rakshasas or birds, or bees, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Siddhas, Charanas, Guhyaka, Vidyadhara, and even low-class human beings like Vaishya, Shudras, women and others. But all of them were able to achieve the supreme abode. So birth is never a qualification to attain Krishna. Conditions, whatever conditions you may be born, that is also not a qualification to attain Krishna. But so many different people, they were able to achieve the supreme abode. Think about examples like Vritrasura, Prahalada Maharaj. Vritrasura was a demon. Prahalada Maharaj, like you all said, was a demon. They also achieved the abode by the association of the Lord's devotees. Not only that, there was a person by the name Vrishaparva, but who was actually, he was abandoned during childhood and then he becomes a sage. Bali Maharaj, who was born as a demon, Banasura, who was born as a demon, Mayadanava, again who's a demon, Vibhishan, who's a demon, Sugriva, who was a Vanara, Hanuman, who was also a Vanara, Jambavan, who was a rickshaw, who was a bear, Gajendra, who was an elephant, Jatayu, who was a vulture, Tuladhara, who was a Vainika, that means he was a Vaishya. He was actually a merchant, he was a businessman. Dharmavyada, the famous Dharmavyada of Mahabharata, who was a butcher, Kubja, who was a hunchback woman, and the gopis of Vrindavan, who didn't have so much exposure. They were simple village girls. And the wives of the Brahmanas, who were Brahmana Patnis, but still they were in the body of a woman. So like this, there are so many people. What big qualifications did they all have? You know, material qualifications was almost zero for all of them. But all of them, they attained love of God. Te nadita shruti gana nopasita mahatmaha. Vritatma tapasa mat sangan mam upagata. The persons I have mentioned did not undergo serious studies of the Vedic literature, nor did they worship great saintly persons, nor did they execute severe vows or austerities. Simply by association with me and my devotees, they achieved me. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, including the gopis, cows, unmoving creatures, and the twin Arjuna trees. Imagine they were trees, right? Twin Arjuna trees. Animals, living entities who were stunned in consciousness, such as the bushes and thickets, and snakes such as Kalia. All of them achieved perfection of life by unalloyed love for me. And this is very easily achieved by me. A poet in South India has quoted in the Padyavali as follows. He says, did the hunter named Dharma have any piety? Did age disqualify the 5-year-old Dhruva? This Dharmavyada, this hunter, what piety did he have? Nothing. He was a butcher. He was killing. I mean, not killing. Sorry, he was not killing. He was chopping the meat of different animals. Did the age disqualify Dhruva? He was just 5-year-old. He was a baby. He was a kid. Did Gajendra, who lived by the Trikuta mountain, possess any learning? Was he a well-educated, learned Brahmana? No. Did Mathura's Kubja, the maid servant of Kamsa, have any beauty? Did Sudama Brahmana, the friend of Krishna, have any wealth? Did the social status of Vidura disqualify him? Did the prowess of Ugrasena, the king of Yadus, disqualify him? This is actually a sarcastic statement, because since I've heard this from the South Indian people who actually comment on this verse, this is supposed to be sarcastic. Did the prowess of Ugrasena, the king of Yadus, disqualify him? Means actually Ugrasena did not have any prowess, but still he was the king of the Yadus and he was not disqualified in the eyes of Krishna. Okay, we don't see any big achievements of Ugrasen that has been glorified, right? He was not considered to be a great Maharathi or something like that. But he was a king. He remained a king and he remained a devotee of Krishna. He loved Krishna a lot. So did the prowess of Ugrasena, the king of Yadus, disqualify him? Madhava was pleased with their devotional service. Just devotion, that is all Krishna sees. He is not pleased with material qualities. So I thought of sharing one verse from Bhagavatam that talks about all these great personalities. It'll be nice because you might also want to see the verse. This is a similar verse like we just read right now from Padyavali and also from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's compilations. So a similar verse is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is in the 11th canto, chapter 12, verses 3 to 6. It talks about all these personalities actually that we just listed. The personalities are it's the same thing actually. The same verse is there and directly from Bhagavatam. In every yoga, many living entities entangled in the modes of passion and ignorance gained association of my devotees. I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is just directly picking this from Bhagavatam and telling us. Thus, such living entities are the Daityas, Rakshasas, birds, beasts, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Siddhas, Charanas, Guhyakas, Vidyadharas, as well as Vaishyas, Shudra, women and others. They were all able to achieve my abode. Vritrasura, you all know the story of Vritrasura. Vritrasura in the previous life, he was Chitraketu, and then eventually he gets the association of Angira Rishi and Narada Muni, and then he advances. Prahalad Maharaj, of course, Prahalad Maharaj, he hears the glories of the Lord while he was in the womb of his mother. And then, so they get association of Krishna's devotees and they were able to advance. Vrishaparva. Vrishaparva, as I mentioned, he was abandoned when he was very young, and later through the association of sages, he becomes a sage. Bali Maharaj, you all know how eventually the Lord helped him surrender and he got the association of Prahalad as well. Banasura, he gets the association of Lord Shiva and then he was rectified. Mayadanava. So let's see, actually in the purport, a lot of this is mentioned. There is a beautiful sentence of Mayadanava in Bhagavatam itself, where he tells, we all make plans, you make plans, I make plans, but ultimately all of us have to bow down to the plan of the Lord. He realized the greatness of Krishna and he became a surrendered devotee. So that was Mayadhanava's story. Vibhishan, you all know about Vibhishan. Sugriv, Hanuman, Jambavan, Gajendra, Jatayu, Tuladhara. This is that Vainika, that is the one who was a merchant. Chakravarti Pad, he says that this Tuladhara's association is not very clear, how he became a devotee. But there is a story of Jajali Muni and Tuladhara that is relevant to the current context of discussion. There was a great sage by the name Jajali Muni, and he was known for his austerities, okay? He would do severe austerities, so much so that he would stand like a pillar on one leg for many days together, and he had a lot of jadas, that is long, matted hair. One day, a bird came and put its nest into his hair because his hair was very much like a nest. So a bird created a nest on his hair. Now he wanted to follow the dharma of non-violence. So he didn't want to shake his head or he didn't want to shoo the bird away. So he tolerated all the distress for the sake of the birds. Then the bird, they had a nice family, the eggs hatched, and then the birds would fly away for some time. And this Jajali Muni would just stand like that, waiting for the birds to come back to his head. Like that, he would stand for 1 day. Sometimes he would stand for 10 days, sometimes for 15 days, waiting for the birds to come. But he didn't want to disturb their house that was there in his head. And he was so sensitive to the bird's life. And eventually, the birds flew away for more than a month and they didn't return. So finally, Jajali Muni, he decided to go and take a bath. So when he went and he took a bath in the river, he started declaring loudly, Who can be greater than me? I perform the greatest of all austerities. Who can be more virtuous than me? I have been so tolerant and loving to all living entities. So he went on declaring his glories, and that is when he heard an asharir that said, go and see Thuladhara. Go and see this simple Vaishya and compare yourself with him and understand who is better. So he goes in search of this Vaishya, who was actually a merchant. Now, a merchant cannot really have what do you say, like very strong principles of non-violence, etc. It is not possible because a merchant has to deal with so many people. He has to bring goods, he has to sell goods. There is some cheating involved. It's not very easy for Vaishyas to execute their duties under strict principles. But then this Vaishya, he had a very nice principle that he executed his duties perfectly, but he had this vision of samadrishti. Like we say, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gadi Hastini, Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So he saw everyone as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and treated them with equality, which this Jajali Muni did not really see. His focus was on his austerity. It was not on the principle of Samadrishti. That's why that Asharira told him that go and see this man. His principles are very, very clear. His internals are clean. But whereas you are doing all these austerities, that is great, but it is only for increasing your pride. So like that, then this Jajali Muni, he realizes his mistake and he gets education from this simple merchant who was selling goods. So that is a nice story. And how he got this association of Samadrishti, that is not very clear, as our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Anyway, but they either got association of Krishna or all of these characters. They either got association of Krishna or Krishna's devotees and they become great devotees. Dharma-Vyada. Dharma-Vyada is this person from Mahabharata, also from Varaha Puran. His story is mentioned in two different ways. One is in Mahabharata, the other is in Varaha Puran. He actually gets the association of, I think, Vishwavasu. The name of or Vasu, let me see. It should be in the purport. Yeah, Dharma-Vyada, it is mentioned that he had the association of a Vaishnava king by the name Vasu. Because of that, he's able to, in his next life, though he got a curse and he became a Vyada, that is a butcher, still he was able to function in perfect consciousness of Krishna. He did all his activities in the mood of Yad Karoshi Yad Ashrasi. He did everything thinking of Krishna. So he also advanced because of the association of Vasu in his previous life. Of course, Kubja, she had the direct association of Krishna. And then we have the gopis. We don't even have to consider them in the list because they are so advanced. And the Brahmana Patnis. So this is about that verse. It is there directly from Srimad Bhagavatam. And the purport has details about each of these characters if you're interested in reading. So we'll do the final verse for today. Very simple verse. Finally, here I'm going to share again for those who want to see the verse. Prabhu bale payamarpane mora nahi paya sakala karino churna deki bhai. The Lord continued, one cannot attain me just by drinking milk. You will see right here how I smash him into pieces. So the Lord is really angry and he doesn't like a person demanding love of God just because he has done something. So that should be the mood. What should be the mood? The mood should not be demanding. Rather, the mood should be Sharanagati, surrender. What is surrender? Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyati iti vishvasa. Guptritve varanam tata atmanikshepakarpanye shadvida sharanagati. There, rakshishyati iti vishvasa. This is very crucial. What is rakshishyati iti vishvasa? It is complete faith Krishna will protect. And sometimes we have to be completely convinced. It is not by my endeavor that anything is going to happen. You should have full faith. No one else can actually give protection. You should be firmly convinced of this, and this is called a faith. This is called as faith. Prabhupada says this kind of faith is different from the faith of the impersonalist who wants to merge in the Brahman effulgence in order to benefit. That is why he needs a benefit. What is the benefit he's looking for? He doesn't want this repeated birth and death. He wants to stop it. For that benefit, the impersonalist is trying to surrender. But no, that is not Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa is complete dependence on the mercy of the Lord, to stay in the service of the Lord. Now, when we say Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa, surrender, we say, right? But sometimes what happens to us, we are trying to surrender, happening with all of us. We are trying to surrender, but then we have a demand internally. We want Krishna to protect us the way we want him to protect us. No, this is happening every time. I think I should surrender to Krishna, but I have a plan and I tell Krishna my plan. You please protect me this way. Okay. But it doesn't work like that because Krishna has his own way. He will do it according to the way he wants to do it. My Guru Maharaj once said, this was a serious situation. He once said in one of the lectures when many devotees lost their lives, he said, sometimes we expect Krishna should protect me in a particular way. We expect Krishna should protect my body. I am a surrendered devotee. But Krishna may protect you without protecting your body because he knows what to protect. And what has to be protected? Your bhakti will be protected. That is the fruit of the Sharanagati that you do. No, he may protect you the way he wants to protect, not the way we want him to protect. So that is Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. So like this, one has to surrender with full faith. So we'll end here. I know this is a lot. So any questions, comments, additions, corrections, realizations, additions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Excellent, excellent class. Thank you so much for the beautiful pastimes and for explaining the verse so beautifully. Thank you for all the quotes from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. The story, made me think of Dhruv Maharaj because initially, as he was instructed by Narad Maharaj, and he did austerities just because he wanted a kingdom bigger than his father and grandfather. But once he got the darshan of the Lord and the pure love, his interest was no more in the kingdom.
Yes.
Very, very.
Yes. Wonderful. Fantastic example. Yeah. And such a small boy, right?
Yes, such a small boy. Very beautiful class. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead. Parima Mataji, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Mataji, what a wonderful class. I mean, I really enjoyed it so much that I didn't want you to end it. So nice, Mataji. You explained everything so nicely. But the problem is, Mataji, in the face of calamity, especially when we are completely shaken, our faith is really challenged. We want to hold on to our faith. And of course, you said that, we do have an internal desire of, like how Krishna should protect us, of course. Because at least for me, I'm a very fallen, conditioned soul. I mean, I'm not even qualified to practice even this, whatever that I am, little that I'm practicing. But it's only because of mercy of Vaishnavas like you and our Guru Parampara that I'm able to at least hear every day. But Mataji, how do we develop this faith? How do we make it stronger? Basically, even though we chant, we pray, we do everything, and if we are challenged, how do we maintain this faith? If you have anything from the Shastra or from our acharyas, Mataji, if you can share.
I know it's so difficult, right?
It's very difficult.
Yes, it's
Even
easy.
when I see other devotees, when I see that, like, I will not mention the names. I've seen them losing their children or losing their husband or whatever. At that time, I literally tell Krishna, you didn't find anybody else to do this? Honestly, this is what I do. And even though I know that he might be protecting them spiritually, but then this is what I come up with. So, if you have anything you can share or throw light. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Please.
I know, right? It's not easy. It's easy to give a class. It's not easy to face the situation. Yeah, but we have to repeatedly read the lives of Vaishnavas mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is our only hope, because as I always say, Every example in Srimad Bhagavatam, every devotee, none of their lives was easy. Everybody went through a lot. They went through a lot. But the only strength they had was surrender. So when Bhagavatam is such a treasure, Bhagavatam is a glorification of devotees, right? It is about the Bhagavatas. It is a glorification of the devotees of Krishna. When we see all the devotees of Krishna, all of them underwent so much more than what we can fathom. And still, the only wealth they had was that surrender. And they let Krishna do whatever they like. Mahaprabhu says that I don't want to say it. Like, you can do whatever you want with me. I don't want to say that. I don't have that surrender. Like, what's her name? Kunti Maharani. She says, give me everything. I will never say it because I cannot handle it. I know that. But we can take inspiration, Mataji. And when the situation comes, Krishna will protect us. He will protect our consciousness. Unbelievable protection will come. It's almost like he will put a cloth around you and protect you. Though the external situation may be so bad, still you will still feel calm and protected under his embrace. You won't know how, I don't know how to explain it, but that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, right? So the beauty of Krishna consciousness is it is such a subtle process. It is not very open like other processes where you're doing one particular activity, you are doing some yama niyama and some pranayam, and then you're doing some meditation, you're feeling bliss. It's not like that. It is not very pronounced like those processes. It's very subtle. You chant the holy names, you don't even know if you concentrated on one naam, but still it goes a long way. You hear Bhagavatam class and it is just, oh, I just remember the class that Prabhu gave for a few minutes, and then after in the evening, I've completely forgotten Krishna. So our lives are like that. Our so-called practicing devotees' lives is like that. Nobody is perfect, but still, that little by little, as we are doing every day, it's going a very long way. And when calamities come, such people hold up. You can see millions of examples around you. They are able to hold up. Why are they able to hold up? The way a devotee reacts, a practicing devotee reacts, and the way a person who doesn't have this gift of Krishna consciousness reacts is very different. Why is it different? Because Krishna is providing that protection, invisible cloak over you, and he's taking care of you. Even a little attempt we do, he's so pleased. He's so pleased. And he's taking care of us. And our external situations can be anything. But Krishna will show us how to respond to such situations. And yeah, the best thing is he will not let us down by taking away our bhakti. Because at the end of the day, that is the only treasure we can ever have. This inclination to have devotion to Krishna. That if he doesn't take, right? If he protects that, that is more than enough. Actually, we will come to that realization when we go through difficulties. Yeah, just read the stories of these great devotees. That is the inspiration we can get, Mataji. That is the only way to keep strong. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful answer, and thank you for this wonderful class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Pralananda Prabhuji, please unmute yourself.
Pranam Mataji, very nice class. Very
Waiting
nice
for your
inspiration.
verses, Prabhu. I couldn't quote. I'm hoping to quote these beautiful verses.
There is beautiful verse which was, by Sri Prabhupada in the conversation between Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That's where also he is quoting this in Madhya Lila. I think it is 6.87 there, where he is talking about. There is a slope which I have forgotten. Just a moment, if I can locate that. 6.87.
Okay. Yeah, Tomar nahi ka dosha, Shastre eka hai. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the one. In which Prabhupada Maharaj is writing, Nayam Atma Pravachane Labhyo. Na medaya na bhavna srutena. Yam evas vrunute tena labhyas tasya atma vivrunute tanum. Wow. So it is Bhagavan Krishna's ultimate discretion, which decides whether, we become qualified or not. We will do our we will do our own endeavor in every way with contaminated heart or purified heart or whatever. It is Bhagavan Krishna who decides. And, in Mother Yasoda's case also, he said, Swamatu Svinna Gatraya Visastra Kavarasvaja. That's where he saw that, oh, my mother is perspiring. And that's where his karuna came in like that. So, as we can see in Sri Prabhupada's case also, that, Niskam Parve, and just for the sake of pleasing our Guru Maharaj and Parampara, if we do sincerely, without, Pratisthala, Puja, and all those kind of things, then probably, Bhagavan Krishna will be favorable to us. That's what we can expect at the most. That's what I expect at the most, that, because internal antakaran shuddhi, when will it occur? Very subtly, we are so much bound that
Very
there is
bound.
this, that we have this element of, pratishtha, love, very subtle kind of things which can always happen because we are so conditioned like that. At least I feel that way. But what I get solace in is Bhagavatam is that it says, Pravishta Karna Randrena Swana Bhav Sarurukam Sarur. Do notice Samalam Krishna. So Bhuvan Krishna will help us to clean this Rajas Namas from our heart. Our duty is to hear his katha. Right? Sincerely hear his katha. Pravishta Karna Randrena, when it will go like that. And then in the Bhagavatam, also 11th canto, he says, Yan Astai Naro Rajan. Na pramadyat karhichit. Even if you, continue doing this, you will not fail down, you will not sleep, and you will reach the destination, which is love for Lord Shri Krishna. These are some of the slokas and the solace I get from Bhagavatam, despite my contaminated status. That's what I feel, Mata. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak, Mama. Very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's so beautiful. Thank you for pointing us to this beautiful verse also. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Kirtana Sundari Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Shivani Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. Excellent. And I could only make one line out of this entire class is Samsiddhir Haridoshanam. That's the only thing, that we have to somehow please the Supreme Lord, irrespective of, like, I was also reading that what gopis had, no morality. They are beyond this morality and immorality. But the point is that only to please Krishna. And also about what Parima Mataji was asking, that when the problem comes, then you always think like, oh Krishna, didn't you find anybody else? So why only the devotees? Why only me? So I recently, because we are reading this Srimad Bhagavatam study, and in that I was reflecting on this point, that how Anga, he was coming in the entire dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj, and how he was thinking that what an unfortunate situation is that I got a son like Vena. But then he himself says that actually a bad son is better than a good one, because the good son would have created so much attachment for home, but the bad son had made this entire home as a hellish, and therefore it's very easily for me to develop detachment. So see the level, that how in that reversal situations also he's finding some benefit. Okay, this is actually for me, so that I can get detached from that worldly affairs. So as you said, yes, very easy to give class, but very, very extremely difficult to imbibe in our life. But again, the whole solace, like Prahladananda Prabhu was saying, that only solace is reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, that someday these words may affect our mind. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you for making us always remember these things, that yes, these problems come only to make us better devotee, so that we can face it. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirtida Sundari Mataji and Prahladana Prabhu. You really gave me wonderful answers. Something to, think about and really reflect upon. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Very nicely encapsulated the essence.
Yeah.
Kripa Mai Sita Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dandatma Mataji. Mataji, wonderful session, Mataji, told everything. And I want to know the ways how we have to please the Lord what are the ways. He gives some advice as to how to become more pleasing to God, so that we can be in a good look of the God. Because
it's very simple. Krishna doesn't expect much. He just expects us to love him with all our life and soul. So if we love him in all the activities that we are doing in bhakti, when we are hearing, chanting, reading, speaking, doing puja, whatever it may be, all the limbs of bhakti, if it is filled with love, that is all he is looking for. Love, like he's my own, I am his, he's mine. That kind of love, if we can show in all our activities, that is most pleasing to Krishna. So that is all that we understand.
Association with your thing, Bhakti Sangha, Preethi, Mataji, hearing and we are telling all this very nice, Mataji, association, and thanking God how they made me to connect in your group, and thanking God every day for your association, Mataji. And I want to know that in our family members, they are not associating. If I'm telling also, they are not accepting also. I don't know how I'm able to bring my family members into this Krishna consciousness. Compelling only they are telling. And when I hear this, read this, and all, I want to tell little stories and all to my husband or my children and all. No. My daughter is somewhere in Chennai. I am here and telling my son, do some puja and come and help me and do some little puja and all we do. But I'm telling, come and help me and read some books and all. As I'm hearing some lectures and all, we hear this. They are irritated, mother. That's why I'm very because I'm alone here. See, I will tell Lord why these people are like this, and I'm alone here. I'm alone. I missed these people. I'm alone. I'm alone among them. They're telling me we are all this thing. You're alone, and they're telling me I'm not among them. I don't want they want something, they want to see movies or they want to go something, they want to have non-vegetarian diet and all. No, I will tell the cook outside, my cook, no, she won't do that. Then I will I'll ask God, please forgive me what I meant to do. She's cooking the non-vegetarian, the same this thing, and what to do. Then I will please forgive me, otherwise I will tell what all the sins I have to do. I want to know how I please God, because my daughters are not having child, mother. That's the only. I'm asking him, please show mercy on us daily. I'm asking, please show mercy on us. Thank you. Please.
Yes, Mataji, all glories to all the speakers and the coordinators of Bhakti Sangha for keeping this alive. The glory goes to them. About family, I know it is very difficult for family to tell them and change them is very difficult. But one thing we can do, Mataji, I've seen out of experience, is that we can be a happy devotee, like a very happy devotee, a positive devotee, and seeing us, they get inspired, seeing that our life has changed so much. We have become so happy. We are so content in life, and we are becoming better people. So seeing us becoming better people and happy people, they also get curious to see if this process is going to work for them also. So eventually, gradually, over a period of time, it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 years. Over a period of time, though we are telling them, okay, maybe you can chant, maybe you can hear, maybe you can read, maybe they'll take up one of that. Over a period of time, just seeing the changes in you, right? You being an example for them, seeing you as a positive example, they will also try to imbibe a few things. I know it's very difficult to preach to family. It never happens that they change by preaching, but seeing you over a period of time, they will change. Please have hope, Mataji. And for your daughter, we all will pray. I know it's very painful. We all will pray, Mataji. We are all the devotees here. They are very loving and they all love Krishna. Krishna loves them. Krishna loves you also. So we'll offer very sincere prayers, Mataji. We have seen this happen to devotees and it is painful without, I understand the problem. Yeah, we all will pray, and hopefully Krishna helps, Mataji. Even if let's not think about the negative, we'll all pray very sincerely for you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Mataji. That's not all the good. Thank you.
Very good.
Sindhu Rao Mataji or Prabhuji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Excellent, excellent class. I know comments are pouring for you, and
Mataji, I also wanted to tell everyone, what did I do? I just read. I literally read. I didn't say anything much. But thank you all so much for the love that you show. Yeah, very
Yes,
good.
yes. Thank you, Mataji. I know this class is becoming so intense with the question answer sessions. I will just lighten up a little. When you were talking about surrender and how we have to surrender, right? We don't tell Krishna how things should be done, and he protects us. While you were saying that, I just got reminded of Rukmini. She actually wrote a letter telling him how she has to protect us. That was so nice. Her love letter to Krishna, she says, come like this, stand here, don't do this, don't do that. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. She was on the contrary. She was like, as she was instructing him, saying that, if you do this, this is going to happen. So that was very opposite of what we say in Sharanagapati, but Krishna knew her love, right? So that was one thing.
She has the adhikar, Mataji. She has the adhikar to instruct Krishna.
Exactly. No, but it was so nice, right? We all talk about, don't say to Krishna how Sharanagati takes place. And here she's telling him how to kidnap. She's giving him the details. So I was just kind of thinking about that. And I really liked one point, what you said about how Krishna actually puts that veil and protects you, irrespective of how things are going around. It's so, so true. And your conscious, the way you said, Srimad Bhagavatam has it all. Exactly, it is that. Srimad Bhagavatam has it all. We read it like a newspaper and finish chapters. We don't go in deep. When situations come, that is intelligence, right? Which brings back the Bhagavatam stories. That is intelligence. You are making us strong. Whether it was Draupadi losing her 5 children and still saying, no, don't kill him, right? Who can have that? When you relate yourself to that, you think, oh, she is great. I will, just take her shelter. Or when Kunti Maharani says, give me more problems. Or when Prahlad Maharaj, his father is trying to find ways. The entire country is finding ways to kill him. And he's oblivious to all that, and he's doing japa. And it's very difficult. I think it takes a long time for us to even remember these things, when circumstances come. And Krishna is very, very intelligent. That's what I've realized over the few little years of bhakti, not bhakti, the practice that I'm doing. What I've realized is Krishna is very, 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 very intelligent. Like one of the Prabhujis was saying in the Bhagavatam class, right? I think Radha Pramod Prabhu was saying, he gives you a problem. If the outcome is not what he wants, the same problem in a different flavor with different characters he will bring. Till that anartha is taken out of you, he keeps bringing back the test with new numbers, right? You keep failing the math test, and he'll keep giving you with different numbers so that you pass the test. So that was, I cannot forget what he said. He said, it's the same problem in different colors and shapes. It comes back in your life, and that is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, till we give up.
Exactly. And your statement, I will never forget, Mataji, that you said about the veil, and he'll keep you so protected under that veil, no matter what happens outside. And that is our Krishna. Last thing I wanted to say to Kripamayi Sita Devi Mataji, don't ever say you're alone, Mataji.
Yeah, we're all there. Yeah.
We're all here. Sometimes even if I'm not listening, I have not turned on my camera, I join this class just for the association, just to hear people, right? You think you can read Bhagavatam on your own or Bhagavad Gita on your own. In association, it is totally a different dimension it takes you to. And to do bhakti also, at least for me, without Bhakti Sangha group and my other group, Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav group, I don't think I could have sustained Bhakti. So this is the hope. And you're in a ISKCON family, Mataji. Once you're in a ISKCON family, I mean, this family is so big. Go to any city, any town, you have people, and people are so welcoming. And it's very easy to interact because we are all aiming at the same thing, right? Our consciousness, it's not very pure, but at least we are all aiming at the same thing. So you can relate quickly rather than the outsiders who, I mean, you can't blame them. They are in ignorance. You have mercy on them. But you should never call yourself alone. I have done that for many years. And that's why I'm telling you, don't ever, even if people are around me, I call myself alone sometimes. So that's how the world is. All of us are alone, Mataji. Only Krishna is our universal savior, right? This is just one janma. This is just a snapshot of a big movie that you are running in, right? Your life is just a snapshot. There are much more snaps, much more photos to be taken of your life, much more janmas we have. At least I have, because I haven't done pure bhakti, I know. So don't ever think you're alone. We're all here. You're in ISKCON. After coming into ISKCON, no saying you're alone, Mataji. One day we'll all end up in your house and say, okay, cook for us then. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kanyakumari?
Thank you, Mataji.
Where in Kanyakumari, Mataji?
Kanyakumari, we are in Martandam, no, between Nagarkoil and Trivandrum, in between that city, that exactly is Martandam.
Martandam, we'll all come.
Yeah. Thank you, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji, and thank you, Kripamari, Mataji.
All are welcome. All of you are welcome to my house. Thank you.
See? So you're not alone. One day or the other, somebody will keep coming. Somebody will keep coming to India and they'll keep visiting you. So don't worry.
Come. All are welcome. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the lovely, consoling words, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Preethi Vilasini, thank you so much. Very, very beautiful class. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for your beautiful realization.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Such an excellent class, Mataji, with so many good lessons to imbibe in our life. Especially, I am talking about mine because it is very always faith in Krishna, full faith, unflinching faith in Krishna. Whatever he does for our good, better. So I always think like that. So many classes I heard, and in all classes, I just took this point. Whatever he is doing better for us, very nice for us. And always we have to surrender only in the lotus feet of him rather than others. Because Krishna is only the scope to make us everything, our life perfect or anything, right, Mataji? So, yeah, I really love this class, Mataji. You made my day.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you, Yashomati Mataji.
Thank you, Yashomati Mataji, for your beautiful realization. So, Priya Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very beautiful class and Dandavat Pranams. And I'm so overwhelmed with all the contents that I hear. I'm just starting in Bhakti. So I don't know ABC of Bhakti. And I have to thank Suksagri Mataji for introducing me to this group. And I find so really merciful. All the devotees are so kind and encouraging of each other. So thank you so much, Mataji. I'm getting to know devotees. I have heard of devotees being so kind and their hearts. So I'm really getting to really know through this group. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And I had this question, Mataji. You said regarding that Brahmana who did a austerity for renunciation. So I feel like I do that for all the Ekadashis now, because I don't even know the purpose why I'm doing the Ekadashi. So now, after you said that, it was a realization like I have done so many things thinking that I'm in Krishna consciousness, but I feel now only I got to know that I've done all of it for like a renunciating austerity. So I just like to know what should be the mood of conducting that any austerities, or like especially the Ekadashis that we do.
Yes, Mataji, this is what we are told. When we do Ekadashi Vrat, of course, there are many byproducts. Because of doing that Vrat, you get many things. You will even go back to Godhead, right? Even that is also one of the byproducts. If you read the Mahatmya, it will tell you will get so many benefits. But when we are doing as a devotee who is trying to practice bhakti, we should do it because it is pleasing to the Lord. The Lord says in Shastra, it is very pleasing to me. You'll make me very happy if you observe this Vratha of Ekadashi. So just to please the Lord, it is the Lord's word, it is his desire. I want to make him happy, so I observe it. That's all. Period. That is all should be our intention. The side byproducts and all, our focus should not even go there. We should not even meditate on it. Because that then contaminates the bhakti. Because what happens, our mind is very tricky. What do we start thinking? We think that, okay, I'm getting these benefits. So this person went back to Godhead, so even I will go back to Godhead. This person's sins was destroyed, so even my sins will be destroyed. So what happens? We start meditating on the byproducts. Our focus goes to the byproducts. But remember, they are only byproducts. But our actual goal of doing Ekadashi is because it is pleasing to God. And I will love God even better as I keep doing this. That's all. And God will. That's all. Just the trait of bhakti. That's all.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much. And one little question, Mataji. Like my sisters, they're still starting. So I have been practicing Ekadashis from 2 years. It's not that but somehow Krishna has bestowed that mercy, and I'm able to do it. But when my sister calls, or any of my family members call, did you have food? What did you cook? So I say, no, I'm performing Ekadashi somewhere. Unknowingly, it sort of builds a pride in me. So, I'm so childish. So sorry to ask this question. How do I tackle this, Mataji?
No, it's with everybody. It's with everybody. It happens with everybody. And also, though I said this, we have to do it only for love of God. Still, I am not so perfect that, when there are some many times when I know that I do very strict Ekadasi. I'm not the person to talk about it also. But, the mind is tricky. That's what I want to say. I've done this many times too. I do certain things for some other benefit. It happens. Okay. So it's normal to happen. But yeah, we have to keep telling ourselves that this is not the goal. This is not the goal. I have to really do it for love of God. Now, how to conquer that pride? Okay, I am doing Ekadasi. Try to tell yourself next time that I am not doing Ekadasi. It is by Krishna's mercy that he has given me an opportunity to serve him by observing Ekadasi. This we have to train our mind. Who am I? How much fasting can I do? Do I have the capability? So ask yourself and tell yourself you're useless. You can't do so much unless Krishna is giving his mercy to follow such austerities. So even that fasting is possible by Krishna's mercy, I should use it in Krishna's service. So if you keep training your mind like that, tomorrow when you're talking to, this is just some practical thing that I felt, Mataji, I'm just sharing. If it's out of context, please erase it. But just what I try to, whenever I fall into this mesh of taking credit, I try to implement this. So I'm just sharing with you. Try to tell yourself that it's not possible without Krishna's mercy, because I'm very bad at fasting. Even if I have to fast during Nashtama Chaturdashi or Janmashtami, first thing, ideally what we can do is we can go and pray to the Lord and say, whatever is possible, it's possible only by your mercy. So you make me do it. Now it's your task. You empower me to fast, and I'm doing this purely for your pleasure. So me doing it is also possible by you, and the result is also for your pleasure. So like that, if you keep training your mind, what happens when you're telling your parents or someone that I am fasting today, that pride won't be the I am fasting. Rather, it is only by the mercy of the Lord I'm even existing, right? So Do you understand? Basically, it's in our
Yes,
mind.
Mataji.
It
Yes,
will not
thank you
come.
so much. Yeah, definitely. True.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
just
so
want
much,
to
Mataji.
train ourselves. That's all.
Yes, thank you so
And
much,
it's,
Mataji.
I know it's easy to say, but it's an ongoing process. Every day we have to do it. Every time we pass, we have to remind ourselves.
Thank you
Human-
so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preethi. Danva Pranam, such a beautiful class. So many pastimes you shared. I have to go back and listen. I don't, my Kali Yuga memory, I'm not able to recall everything. But yeah, I will go back. So many stories you shared so nicely, like always. And I just wanted to say a quick word about Supriya. She's a very, very sincere devotee. She helps me a lot and in my services also and for my progress too. And she's very humble, but she just
We see that.
yeah, she's very humble and very eager to learn. And she says that she doesn't know much, but she knows quite a bit. Yeah, very happy that she's able to join and give us association. Thank you.
Thank you.
Totally
I
your
just wanted to say
mercies,
that.
Sukasagri Mataji. Nothing like that. She is so humble. She just keeps me encouraging. Thank you so much for all this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for giving your valuable assistance.
Yeah, all goes to Preethi. She's the driving force. Yeah, Preethi and all the organizers at Bhakti Sangha. Very indebted to all of.
Mataji, just one input. I just thought of it. When we think that we are doing fasting and all that, there's one Mataji in our congregation. She does Nirjala every Ekadashi. So when I see her, I don't feel proud. I can't hear
Go,
you, Mataji.
Vinita. Go,
Can't hear you,
Vinita.
Mataji.
Mataji, I can't hear you now.
Yeah, it's Vinita only. No, so Parima's idea is very good, Just think about Vinita, then you're not doing anything at all. So forget
Oh,
it.
Vinita Gandharvika Mataji also does Nirjala every Ekadashi.
Whom did you think, though? Yeah.
No, not in our congregation, in our Bhakti Vriksha. There's one
No.
Mataji.
Okay, I thought everyone immediately thinks Vinita. So,
Okay,
okay.
no, but there is one more Mataji in my congregation. She's a very nice, very, very senior devotee, and she does the Nirjala every Ekadashi. And women, while breaking fast, she is not in a hurry. If I was there, I would be like, oh my God, what time is it? What time is it? But she just takes a few drops of water to break her fast. So, we have such elevated devotees. When we see, we can never get any pride.
Yeah, correct. When we see them, we don't get any pride. Yeah. Because what
Yeah.
are we doing? Whatever we do, it's useless in front of them.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Vanita
I also
Mataji said-
agree. Sorry, Mataji, if somebody was saying something.
Go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also agree, and I want to add the kind of austerities Vinita does, fasting and also not sleeping. I mean, I'm like overwhelmed all the time just thinking of that. I know how she manages all that. So,
So because of
all
her,
kudos.
I just checked. So good.
Yeah. You bet, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Mataji, I interrupted you. Please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
No worries. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If there are no more questions or realizations, I would like to thank Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji for her valuable time and association this morning. Lalitanya Mataji, Suksagri Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, and Vanita Gandharvika Matajis are
Hare
thanking
Krishna,
you.
Mataji. I just want to announce I stopped Nirjal because of my health issues. Please, Mataji, pray that I can continue for whenever Krishna allows me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All Matajis are thanking you in the chat for a very beautiful class. Thank you so much for enlightening us today and looking forward to your next class, Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees, I would like to pay my obeisances to Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji and all the simple devotees. Do I have your permission to close the call, Mataji? वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। हर ग्रेस प्रीति